going to be costly. There's going to be still dissatisfaction. So I think we should just do the right thing at the right time. And that is something I will delve into the next time I make my comments, what that right thing is and what that timing is. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mrs. Sahota. So are you asking to be added to the list again?
Yes, please.
Mr. Cooper.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I will be very brief. First of all, I do want to correct the record about what you said, respectfully, Madam Chair, about what happened on Tuesday after question period when this committee did not reconvene. You said at 9:46 today, quote, "It was never the intention that we would not find resources, but we have to work with them to find resources," end of quote. That's a direct quote from you, Madam Chair. Just to clarify for the record that all opposition whips agreed to make resources available. All opposition MPs returned to committee. Resources were available. There were interpreters in the booths waiting for Liberal members to show up. The only reason that the committee did not return on Tuesday is because after Liberal members filibustered for 3 hours, they then changed tactics to simply not show up so that there would not be a quorum, and therefore the meeting would be suspended until today. So it's just an illustration of Liberals using every tactic in the book to block the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff from having to testify before committee. And with respect to Ms. Telford appearing before committee, listening to my Liberal colleagues speak about this matter, you would think that this was completely unprecedented. I mean, first of all, they refer to her as just some staff member. I mean, for heaven's sake, she's the Chief of Staff to the Prime Minister. She's the top advisor to the Prime Minister. She's one of the most powerful people in this government. But further to that, it's hardly without precedent. Ms. Telford has appeared before a committee before. She appeared at the Finance Committee. I was a member of the Finance Committee at that time on July 30th of 2020 in regards to the Liberal government's We Charity scandal. She also appeared before the National Defence Committee on May 7th, 2021 with respect to sexual misconduct in the Canadian Armed Forces. So Ms. Telford has appeared twice at committee. There's absolutely no reason why she can't appear before this committee. And really, the motion before us is quite clear. The amendment put forward by Mr. Turnbull to gut my motion to have Ms. Telford appear is straightforward. All the arguments have been made. There is no reason for this debate to continue. All opposition parties are united in seeing that Ms. Telford appear before a committee, of course, with Ms. Blaney's amendment to my motion, which all opposition MPs are united in support of. The Liberals oppose the motion, my motion amended by Ms. Blaney. Let's get on with it. Let's get to a vote on Mr. Turnbull's amendment. Then let's vote on my amendment and get back to business and hear from the ministers and hear from Ms. Telford next week.
Point of order, Madam Chair, and it's not with respect to my colleague, I just wanted to mention the screen here is blinking like crazy, and so I don't know if we should maybe just turn it off or something because it's blinking on this side.
Thank you, Mrs. Romanato. We'll get on that. Mr. Cooper, that was your point? Thank you.
Let's get to a vote. Filibustering.
Before I go to Madame Gaudreau and Mrs. Blaney and Mr. Fergus and Mr. Turnbull, I will just say, Mr. Cooper, you're welcome to do what you're doing is taking my one sentence out of context. I did also go further on to explain. I understand that you believe that when you want me to be here, whether it's in my constituency week or whatever else, that I have to be here. I get it. I do my best. But I do have obligations to my constituents. I also take my responsibilities as Canadians seriously, and I have to fulfill all of them. So I've, on often occasions, agreed to disagree with you. Sometimes we can find a way forward. In this, I would say that your interpretation versus what I have said are not the same. But I'll leave that with you because it's not the first person who puts words in my mouth. And it's just, I guess, part of the job, which is unfortunate. Madame Gaudreau.
Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Well, you know me well enough now. By now, I always have a bit of a preamble to set the tone. I know that there are folks watching us. I even have people in my riding who are watching us. And many people are asking what's going on. There are a lot of words that are coming up, filibustering, the need to know, the need to understand, trust, confidence, we need to act. It's high time we act. We're concerned. We have misgivings. We want to know. But I'd like to say, Madam Chairperson, that the proof is in the pudding. And listen, I'm learning a lot from this, and I take my hat off to people. And I think I've got new people to emulate when it comes to filibustering in the future because, they've shown me how to do it and are in fine form. And often people cast aspersions about filibustering and they say, well, you're doing this because X, Y, and Z. And I said, well, don't throw stones at glass houses. Look at yourselves before you cast aspersions. And it's a pity that those that cast those aspersions aren't actually here.